Don't panic. Hitchhikers Guide to the Galaxy. Released, no idea when it was released. At this time, and directed by this guy. Starring Martin Freeman, Yazin Bey, Zooey Deschanel, and an almost unrecognisable Sam Rockwell. Production cost of $50 million, a domestic take of $51 million, an international take of $53 million, for a worldwide total of $104 million, and a total profit of $54 million. Less all marketing and associated costs. Sorry about the sniffles. I think I'm getting a cold. Again. Characters. Okay, you got your four main characters, right? And they actually have to work. If you've read the books, or if you've even seen that terrible old TV show, the characters have got to work. Otherwise, the whole thing kind of unravels on you. Good news is Arthur Dent is masterfully presented by Freeman. Watching poor old Arthur Dent just deal with what's happening in front of him, or not deal, is more usually the case, was spectacular. Next up is Ford Prefect, the straight man to Dent's comedian. I felt that he appeared accurate to the book. What I saw in the book, when you're reading, and when you see a character in your head, very close to Ford in the film. I was very happy with that. He was very reserved. He's been here before. He's done that before. He's kind of a little bored with it. Trillian was one of two that I was really worried about. Getting Trillian right, scared and concerned, yet very capable. Zoe did a really good job with Trillian. Then again, Zooey Deschanel is a very, very likable actress. And I think that was a perfect fit for Trillian in this film. Having read the book, exactly the sort of woman that Arthur Dent would fall head over heels for. And the other one that really had to work, which kind of did, is Zaphod Beeblebrox. I did find him a lot irritating to watch. He bugged me. He annoyed me in the way that he carried on. He annoyed me in his lines and his delivery, and just the whole schmarmy presentation irritated me, and it was meant to. If you've read the books, you know that you're meant to be irritated by Zaphod Beeblebrox. He's meant to bug you in a way that almost no other person will ever do so. Overall, while the characters were not necessarily book accurate, they still brought across the essence and the flavor or the style of the character they're meant to inhabit. So that was good. On the whole, I'll be giving characters in this a 3. Enjoyable, believable, relatable, and irritating as required. Story. Now, here's the problem. As a film, a contained film of itself, it's got a start, middle, and end. It's got a romantic arc. It's got its action arc. It's got its plot with its subplot. It's got multiple things going on in there, all of them resolved by the end and giving you a nice, tidy, bizarre sci-fi movie. No problem. As a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy adaptation, not so good at all. You've got some glaring holes in some of the characters. Zaphod, for example, is just this idiot. He is just an idiot in the book too. But at the same time, there's a whole bunch of reasons why he's the way he is. You lose that. Trillian isn't that badly presented, but no, I can't just focus on the characters, because they're the most prominent thing in the film, and they are really quite good versions. The overall book has not been brought across very well, and a lot of the deeper stuff, a lot of the more intrinsic, satirical, and in many ways much more interesting things in this have been either glossed over, briefly mentioned, or just ignored completely. Which is why when I was watching the film, I'm getting a lot out of the movie, but then I realized that if you haven't read the books, you're not going to be getting those. You're not going to be understanding the deeper meanings of things. Which is why when I was talking to one of my mates who's seen this film, he just said it was a big steaming pile of rubbish, that he just couldn't understand anything. It didn't make any damn sense. And when while it was funny, it was ridiculous funny. He just didn't get it. There was nothing, as he said, there was nothing to get because there was nothing in it. And as I was attempting to debate this with him, I realized that all of my answers and all my counterpoints were, but in the book, but if you've read the book, hey, but the book does this. It doesn't work for a standalone movie, It only works if you've seen the book. And if you've read the book, you're having a different argument with me, which is mainly about, I wish they're going to put these in the movie. So I'll be giving story in this one a 2.75. Mainly because to get the most out of this movie, you need to have at least read the first book. Look and feel. Now, this gets interesting as well. The biggest problem is, again, I've read the book. I've got to stop saying that. Can't keep doing that in this review. Okay, so let's focus on other things. The way it was shot is actually quite interesting. in many ways felt quite static. There were a lot of static shots, a lot of standard sci-fi shots, which I didn't mind. And the integration of the CGI was mostly really well done. It looked good, it felt good, you didn't get thrown out by anything. Because even when it was extra cheap and sort of silly looking, it still reminded you of some excellent BBC sci-fi series. Getting Doctor Who and Red Dwarf feelings out of this one. Quick talk about Zaphod. Why that his second head popped up within his chest, I wasn't a big fan of that at all. Kind of stupid. The other thing was that third arm. Now the third arm was always a big deal in the book. In the TV series, in this, it appears, what, twice? Once to put ice in a drink, and the other time to punch Arthur in the face. I'm kind of glad it wasn't out there very much, because the CGI they used for that was pretty weak. The sight gags from the improbability drive, jumping between places, that was fantastic. When Arthur and Ford turn up as couches in the holding bay, that was great. When they all turn up as knitted stop-motion puppets, that was also completely, unexpected, and I loved it. I love that sort of thing. That is what Hitchhikers Guide to the Galaxy is all about. That sort of weird, cool stuff. They got the bowl of petunias and the whale in there as well. Now, I'd actually forgotten about that part. They didn't use the whale's death as the way it was meant to be used again in the book. Doesn't matter. The integration between CGI, puppetry, the sets, the live locations, all that sort of thing was really nice. I really enjoyed the polish on this movie. I'm going to give Look and Feel quite a high score. I'll be giving Look and Feel a 4 on this. Just because everything I saw reflected what I knew from the book. There, I've said it again. Script and dialogue. Okay, again, I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to end up comparing it to the book constantly, but I'll try not to. But, look, actually no, as a movie, the script is tight and it's fast and it's quite funny. The situations and the setup and the gags they find themselves in. I did notice that they took a lot of pauses. They didn't always just try to rush and bury you in exposition either. In fact, they very rarely explained anything. And when they did decide to go and get the book out, it doesn't give you as much exposition as I thought they were going to use the book for. I think the most fun in this script was unexplained things happening and you watching Dent react to them. Like when they put the thinking hat on Zaphod, which is basically just a lemon juice extractor. Briefly explain what and why, not the how, and you're just left with Dent looking absolutely confounded by the idea. The way they presented their absolutely bureaucratic enemy. The fact that the grand rescue sequence involved queuing, signing the right form, and submitting it on time. That was clever. I really liked the way that they reduced an essential action feature of most of these movies down to that. Sequence out the front of Dent's house was kind of cool, but I will say that is one of the things I really missed from the book. That sequence was much funnier and much more involved than they presented it. I mean, there was some dialogue between key characters and key players in this movie that just was either in passing, very casual, or felt exceptionally awkward. And some scenes that you're just wondering why did they bother with that? While you were scratching your head for a lot of stuff, you weren't meant to understand some of this rubbish that was going on. You're meant to feel as confused as Arthur Dent did. Again, I think it's because of the book that I'm not so enamored with the script of this film. But I still have to be fair to the movie itself. So I'll be going ahead and giving script and dialogue a 3 because all of my issues I've got with it really don't have anything to do with the movie itself. So yeah, script and dialogue gets a 3. Fun factor, well, despite everything I was missing from the movie, I enjoyed it. I still have fun. It's goofy and it's silly as appropriate. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. The satirical elements of other sci-fi movies and dramatic moments are quite good. The opening song number from the Dolphins was bizarre and I really enjoyed it. It only occasionally got really weird, but then it just came back to regular weird and you still went back to having a pretty good time. Overall, I didn't mind this at all. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. If you're in the mood for some British sci-fi silliness and you don't mind killing an hour and a half with some visual fairy floss, then yeah, this is fun. This is okay. Fun fact, it gets a 3. It's not a regrettable time unless you are hoping for a slightly more serious sci-fi, at which point you're probably going to hate it. Final score. Well, you add them all together, you get a 15.75. That to me feels like a very fair score. It's a good movie, you know, it could have been a great movie. All of my objections to the movie come from the fact that it doesn't match the book, which, you know, whatever, this isn't a book review. Have you seen this one and have you read the book as well? What do you think about the comparisons between the two? Do let me know down below or in the Facebook page. While you're at it, like, share and subscribe. And as always, I hope you're having a great week and that you get some time to go and watch a movie.